Hello, my dear ones. Let's see if this will work. That was a picture of Rebbe Zartaris and Paul Twitchell having a discourse somewhere in the God worlds. Oh my God, it's crazy out there on this planet, huh?
Well, yes.
Yeah. Oh, here. Let me see what all I got here. Working on a good flea and tick. Oh. You know, we've talked a lot spiritual things, you know, this is my favorite subject, of course. About 2 videos ago, we were talking to this lady, and I wanted to talk to you about a little more. And this lady, I think, her case made up almost the whole video. And to make a long story short, this was Katrina, and she has a lot of, she has the 2 retina detachments. She has elevated liver enzymes, low platelet counts, all kinds of things through the years. And she's lost most of her friends, and I think her husband or someone, and she's living in an apartment by herself. And so we're taking care of her, but I want you to know that we take ourselves here. She didn't realize that she brought herself here, or there, however you wish to look at it. That we bring ourselves along these paths, unconsciously. She's right where she needs to be for her spiritual growth. Because this isn't always about health of the physical body. That's pretty easy, don't you think? Once you understand what makes us unhealthy, it's pretty easy to get healthy. And for some, they're struggling because of the depth and the treatment they went through, the antibiotics and all of that through the years. You got to, it puts you in some bad places. When you treat medically, it can put you in some bad places, because you're treating symptoms that they don't understand, and they're treating wrongly. You don't kill systemic bacteria, but when you're looking at your journey, there's a point where you have to meet with the alone state. Sometime on your journey, you're going to be faced with nothing but yourself. And it'll take you there. Or you'll take yourself there. And that gives a golden opportunity for this lady, Katrina, to get into that alone state where everything is. The illusion of the alone state is that there's nothing there. The illusion, because everything's there. It's very hard to understand that. Very hard to understand that. And you can only understand that through the fact that there's only one God, and it is totally alone. It doesn't have a mommy God, a daddy God. There's not 2, 3 gods out there. You see that in Hinduism, but that's only they're referring to the subordinates, those that run the different realms and things. God has a whole network in its universes running things and channeling things. Oh yeah, oh no. It works on the buddy system. It has to have this. It has to step itself down. It can only be all. To bring it into a drama has to duality itself, has to individualize itself. So that alone state is the state of the one, the 1111. That's the state of the one. But in that state, all things exist. So I just wanted to talk about that, because sometimes we feel she lost all her friends and she lost her husband and she's all alone in an apartment. No. She created that, and it's important to understand that, because that can be the trigger that sends her into God consciousness. That can be the trigger that sends her into nirvana. That can be the trigger that sends her into joy and happiness and acceptance of who she is. These are important times that you take and spend time alone, because sometime you will have to face that. This lifetime and a journey somewhere at some time or another, you're going to have to face that, because that's the doorway home. And that's what people don't realize. That's your doorway home. Is the alone state. Twitchell wrote a chapter in it, either the Tiger's Fang or one of the Key to Secret Worlds, or one of them called That Alone Exists. And only when you've been in those higher levels do you really get that deep aloneness. That drove me since I've been a baby. That deep alone state. I had to touch it. I didn't realize I come from that. I don't even know. I was going to read this one to you because one's a nightmare from hell. And she's only 35 years old. Well, we're taking care of her too. She was born in the Soviet Union, and she's only 107 pounds. Now she's 5'2.5". What does that tell you already, right? So you know all the endocrine glands have been suppressed. So that doesn't bring anything happy. I can't even tell you. At 3.5, she had kidney failure and was in a coma. That was the easy part. That was the better part. It just gets worse from there. Whew, I can't read it. Whew. From 2012 to 2014, she was confined to bed in excruciating pain. And I wanted to talk about that part of that because this is what people just do not get. And this is what the medical doctors do not get. In their little bag of repertoire, or their little bag of goodies, is something called antibiotics. One of the worst things man's ever discovered. Man saying, "Oh, it's the best thing since ice cream." About right. What man has to understand is bacteria is not after your cells. I don't know how bad your cells. You have other immune cells that are. That's their job. Is to phagocytize or to consume cells that are damaged. And where does that take place at? Hopefully, only in the lymph nodes where the macrophages are. You put macrophages in tissue, that wouldn't be a pleasant experience. So it's really, the body's designed that way for immune cells to remove these cells and take them to the lymph nodes. Remember our discussion that this concept that medical doctors tell people that cells can travel and go into other tissue and create cancer cells from other cells, that's beyond stupid. That reaches all-time idiocy if you understand how the body works. You know that the body is not designed for cells to get into the blood system, and if it was, that's not good. You can't compromise blood pH or blood integrity at all, or viscosity. You can't mess with that at all. It doesn't even make sense. But they're blood fixated because you don't understand the lymphatic system. If you don't understand the lymphatic system as we teach it, then you're not going to know anything. You're out there left with, wonder how things are working. I don't know. Metabolic waste must just be dumped back in the blood system. So the lack of knowledge and the lack of truth and understanding has created a nightmare. And so if you've taken a lot of antibiotics, because they treat with antibiotics, here's a good one for you. We just had a lung cancer case. It's in several places now, brain and everything else. So she gets pneumonia. Now she's on our program. She's supposed to be eating grapes, but her daughter said she sneaks around the corner and gets ribs. Oh, okay. So she's supposed to be on grapes, so she gets pneumonia. Oh, really? She didn't get pneumonia. She's detoxing. She has lung. So when you have lung issues, tumors or whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to call it, you are going to expectorate. You are going to hydrate, and then all this sputum, even locked in there, you're going to break up, and this is going to come hawking out. I don't care who you are. It doesn't have to be lung cancer. You're always going to get sputum out during detox. Always. That's just the natural avenue of elimination. Well, when you have you're detoxing and you have tumors in the lungs, you can expect a pneumonia-type experience. Big deal. People get afraid of pneumonia because medical doctors kill people with pneumonia with antibiotics. You know, to kill people with pneumonia, we get triple pneumonia in here all the time. So she panicked. Instead of letting this come out, she went to the ER and they put her on heavy antibiotics. So what she just did is set herself way back. Now she gets back. I had to refocus her. And then after she gets refocused, she's going to go right back into pneumonia again. what you've experienced in the past, you're going to experience again through detox. You're walking back through the acute, subacute, and chronic stages. You're walking back there. Remember we said every little tear or rip, if it never healed when you were even a baby, it could come back. If you haven't healed your injuries from when you were young, you will re-experience them during detox, guaranteed. It is part of that program. You walk backwards and you can see it. You can see it. Fun stuff, because you really get an understanding of how this all works. But when you go on these programs, you're hydrating and alkalizing, which is hydrating. And when that happens, things move from a cationic, coagulated environment to an anionic, fluidity environment. So things are going to start breaking up and coming out. You don't run to the hospital and take antibiotics. I mean, that's the very thing that compromises man's ability to be well. So when you kill the antibiotics and the bacteria in your body, who's breaking down your acids? Who's breaking down your metabolitic acids, which are at 3 pH? Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Dr. Pepper, remember 3 pH. So who's breaking those acids down if you kill the bacteria? Cells don't break acids down. That's bacteria's job. And it's like, oh, you just killed my bacteria. See, remember culturing medium. It's the medium they need to focus on, not the bacteria, not nature. It's the culturing medium that we've created that's conducive to bacteria. But your lymph nodes are full of bacteria. Taking antibiotics kills that. So now you don't have bacteria to break down 3 pH acids. So why so much excruciating pain? And if you read her story, she was loaded up in the Soviet Union with antibiotics growing up. But I see that in lupus, Lyme's, fibromyalgia. I see that in your RAs. I see that where they've had a lot of antibiotic use because they've had lymphatic expressions during their youth, and medical doctors being unconscious then goes after the bacteria, not realizing the problem isn't bacterial. They're involved in the process of getting well, not in the process of hurting you. So, you have to realize that if you kill your bacteria and you have nobody breaking down your systemic metabolitic acids, they're going to be at least 3, and I'm sure uric acid is a little 2.7 or 6, because it's a little pinprick. You're going to full bore pain, head to toe. That's the sad thing. And this is all done because medical doctors are unaware of health. They're treating something they created, some phantom diseases, and now suddenly they're compromising everybody, and now all these people in extreme systemic pain because they lack systemic bacteria, particularly lymph node bacteria. And of course their sewer systems are stagnant, so they can't even get the acids out of tissue, which means that bacteria can settle in these areas. Well, don't know what to tell you. You've got to get the people have got to get their focuses, understand the lymphatic system, understand this system. And when you're involved with tumors all through you, you've got to understand, why are you on grapes? Why do we give you grapes? They say, I'm on grapes. Are you? Or why are you on them? You know, medical doctor in there in the ER, I'm on a grape diet. What does he know about that? He didn't know anything about that. Matter of fact, he might think, boy, that's strange. That's a weirdo. Because they live in a world that's way, way away. They have no idea about chemistry, hydration. I mean, they talk about hydration. They talk about these things. But when you really start to sit down and talk to them, they don't know anything about that. And that's where you guys excel. You guys are learning so much. I'm so proud of each and every one of you. I can't even tell you. You guys are just so great, and you're helping so many people. Shannon. And it's just remember that. You can't kill the bacteria. They're not the problem. The culturing medium is the problem. The acidosis is the problem. The lack of filtration through the kidneys is the problem. And sweating. The inability to remove that which you're creating in terms of waste and byproducts, very serious. And it can take years before you feel the blowback. And you can just keep on going, and then one day a big tumor pops up. You go, what just happened? You reach a saturation, and then bam! And then suddenly there's a tumor here, a tumor there, and everything. You're going, what the heck's going on with you? No. This has been building for years. You can't suddenly just have a healthy cell and then suddenly be a cancer. That's ridiculous. There's all these atypical phases that everything has to go through. I studied histology. I know about stating cells. I know a little bit about that. Not a lot. I know a little. I was going to go work in a histology department with a pathologist, but I couldn't stand the chemistry. The chemicals they use is so toxic, it's not even funny. I couldn't work in there. I thought, I can't believe you're working in here. This is a good one. Michael. For 1 year and 9 months, many happenings in the evening. I have seen Phoebe Quantz 4 times. Let me tell you, if you've seen Phoebe Quantz, you're a blessed one. Phoebe Quantz is unbelievable. He worked with me. I love that guy, and I still work with him as much as I know. But he was rough a little bit on me. But I've told you some of you a lot of this, but he would appear right here while I'm giving a lecture. He would appear, I could see him. He could appear right here and start talking to me. And I'm giving a lecture. And he'd appear right here and start talking to me. I'm going, I can see you. I'm trying to talk, and I'm inside of me, I'm going, I'm getting that time. He taught me to sit back from my talk. Don't be involved in my talk. Let God be involved in your talk. You don't be involved in your talk. He told me to get out of the way and let it flow through. And he taught me that. Good guy. He's the one that says, he also told me one day, he said, if you stop thinking and stop talking, he said, there's nothing you won't know. Think about that. If you stop thinking and stop talking, bam, you become awake. You stop taking your attention and limiting it and allowing your attention to go, and you have 360 degrees. You have major awareness, each and every one of you. And the same thing applies. If you stop thinking and stop talking, you'll be amazed at what you know and what you see. And I've been trying to get that point across through these videos for several years now, because it's amazing. Get this one. I mean, we have all kinds of strange things happening around. The masters do play with us, but Attila. I have one of the old J. Krishnamurti books, and somehow an old J. Krishnamurti book ended up on his desk. Nobody put it there around here. Cool stuff, man. I love this stuff. This is the stuff I love. Health, yeah, we got to go and change, and that'll be fun. It makes you feel good, and everything's good. Yeah, that's good. It's fun, exciting. But what's more exciting is to be able to travel out of your body anywhere you want, to have these giant spiritual beings visiting you, taking you out of your body, taking you to these beautiful wisdom temples where you learn by the light coming and surrounding you instead of reading books. I mean, he said, I visited him 4 times and another person kissed him. Oh yeah, you have all kinds of things. I was just telling you, wait till Katadaki visits you. That's a female master. She's something else. It brought me to tears of joy. Yeah, it's cool stuff, man. This is where it gets good. And a lot of you are going to start having visitors by these great spiritual beings and doing out-of-body work. You guys are going to put more attention on that, and your spirituality is going to soar like nobody's business. That's another reason. That's another reason we're here. We have major lightning and storms out here every night. We got one right now. I hope our power's still on here. He said, my dreams are only getting stronger with expression and vividness. Oh yeah, because remember, they're going to feel more real. When you get back in your body, you're going to feel like you just came from reality back into illusion. And the truth is, that is the truth. You're getting more toward God the further away from the physical world you go. So when you drop your physical body, you'll feel more real than you felt physically, believe it or not. When you drop your astral emotional body, you'll feel even that much more real than you did before. It is unbelievable. Unbelievable. It's not what you think. From the sounds of dogs barking to floating, well, each plane has its own music and its own level. You know, as spirit, the life force, the prana, whatever you wish to call that creative life force that sings while it works. Remember that whistle while you work? So each plane has its own sounds, its own beauty, its own music, its own ethericness. Just love this stuff. See people in the clouds and cities on the ocean. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of cities stuck around in the skies, everything. There's a lot of spiritual cities everywhere, guys. Unbelievable. Jeweled cities of jewels. I mean, I can't even tell you. Some of the landscapes, the trees are like jewels. They emanate colors. Imagine walking up to a tree that looks like diamonds and rubies and stuff like that. Oh, yeah, that's astral. And that's major. I mean, it is so... we're still living in the physical a little bit here, but I would love to a guide in the right direction and would be willing to pay just for 10 minutes of phone talk. Yeah, I'll call you. Patient of 3 years. I'll call you to talk to you, man. This is pretty exciting. But when you have Fubi Quantz, that's a big boy, my opinion. He's touted to be over 2,000 years old physically, if you can even find him physically. He's more etheric. I mean, this is where he excels, and everybody wants to go to his talks. I mean, they're all the Ek Masters they're masters. When you get down below the Ek Masters, the Ek Masters are masters. They're not masters in and of themselves. They're the masters of the masters. That's why I love them. Chamish Tabriz, the master of Rumi. And you just go on and on and on. These are very powerful beings. I love them. I love that kind of God power, excuse me, that they have. It's amazing. And you when you're in their presence, you shake with God power. I love that. Yeah. I have her give this back to me. Okay. I don't have much long to do a video. I thought I'd just grab a little bit. And just talk a little bit here on a few things. Okay. Let me see. We have time for a couple of these. This is a real long one, so yeah, a couple of these are real long. And I don't have, let me see. There's one. It says, is it from Emmanuel? It says, after watching a documentary called What the Health, I heard that the majority of people diagnosed with Alzheimer's actually have dementia due to the clogging of blood vessels in the brain and nerve cells not getting enough oxygenated blood. It's worse than that. No, this is worse than that. If you ever seen, matter of fact, I hope we have it up on our website. If not, I'll make sure that we get it up there. Shannon gets up there. But to show you the difference between a mucosic cell or a cell that has amyloid or mucoid plaque, either one, what that looks like. And they blame the Alzheimer's on amyloid plaque, of course. But all you see there is the damage to the cell from acids, proteins attacking a cell, which isn't attacking. It's just the fact that you have stagnation of acids in the body around each cell. That's the lymph system. It's around every cell you have. So when you have lymph stagnation, that's called inflammation. Initially, and that's because that's on the outside of a cell in the interstitial spaces. When a cell no longer can remove its systemic waste out of the cell into those interstitial spaces, the cell then becomes, just like you, burnt from its own acid waste. And so then you start breaking down the DNA, RNA, and all the chromosomes. You start augmenting or changing the strength or whatever you want to say about those organelles of the cell. And then that, of course, mutates the cell. And if you're in a stagnation where you're replicating and the body can't get these cells to the lymph nodes, these are the problems we face. We face a lot of serious problems when the lymph system is blocked and you can't get your cells broken apart and taken to the lymph nodes by the lymphocytes. You have problems. And because you're replicating on memory patterns. That's how it works. Everything's genetic. Well, genetic is in real time. Every second a cell changes. So you're constantly changing the morphology of things. So anytime you conceive within that, whatever's going on at the time of conception, that's about what you get in the memory banks of the cell. That's why, and it's all consciousness. So when you start to work and release all this, it releases these memories of pain and things like this. It releases, because remember, nothing can be here in the physical world without being first in the mental worlds and in the emotional worlds, including cells, atoms, I don't care, micronutrients, nanonutrients, doesn't matter. Nothing can appear in the physical form without first appearing in the mental form, then in the emotional form, and then in the physical form. It's impossible. Can't happen. God can't circumvent that, because you have all the power in the higher levels. You can't bring that power down in these lower levels. Are you kidding me? You got to step it down. These are very low energy level areas. Very low compared to who you are. Each and every one of you are these gigantic beings that are probably as bright as 1,000 suns. So you couldn't possibly take your brightness down into these lower dark worlds. So that's why you're stepped down quite a bit. But you have a mind, each and every one of you know that. You have emotions, each and every one of you know that. What you don't know is they're separate bodies. And then you have the physical shell. But it only has basically 5 senses to it. And I mean, it's the minimal side of that. The less ability to move. It's the most finite, the most coarse. No, when you see Alzheimer's, dementia, you have stagnation of lymph, big acidosis, no matter what you call it. Then you can get the amyloid cells, whatever you wish to call it, because this is classic. You know, when you have the acid damage to the cell, and then the immune response is always mucus. And that's what you see on these amyloid cells. And that's the lymph system. That's how it works. But that's how you each one of you experience the loss of mucus coming out of you, the different colors of mucus, which is your different stages. So you all see all that coming out of you when you detox. But that's how the body works. It protects itself through the immune response of mucus, the mucosa, plus other factors of the inflammatory response. The inflammatory response is your own body's response. By the way, inflammation is your own body's response to what? I have a great aunt who had Alzheimer's for about 6 years now. I believe she also has diabetes, but I am not sure with which type. Wouldn't matter. Let's say she did. All right? So what would be the precursor to Alzheimer's? Where would the weaknesses be as a precursor for Alzheimer's? Would it be the same place that you would have a weakness for dementia? Now, would it be the same place if you had dandruff? Something that simple. Aha! Would it be the same place you would have trouble with if you had a tumor in the lungs? Aha! Would it be the same place if you had a fatty liver? Would it be the same place if you had a pancreatic tumor? You see what I'm getting at? All you have is a bunch of cells with interstitial spaces around them. And those interstitial spaces are full of the blood and the lymph. The blood feeds them, the lymph cleans them. So when you have a problem, it isn't a disease flying in from Moose Jaw, Alaska because they didn't like you. It's because of the stagnation of these systems, but not the blood system. You stagnate the blood system and you're pretty much gone, or the tissues on the other side is gone. It's like a heart attack. Ischemic changes can destroy cells. However, you stagnate acids and you have inflammation, you have acidosis, you have pain and swelling, you have everything that you're experiencing. And the proof of that is jump on the other side of chemistry, get the kidneys to filter, and everything starts going away. Oh, I thought I had a disease, and it's incurable. I was lied to. You were. Now, what's the connecting link? If she did have diabetes, what would be the connecting link? Adrenal glands. Adrenal glands, sugar metabolism, adrenal glands. Even in type 1, you're going to have an adrenal connection. We've been looking at that for a long time, Marcy and I. So you always see that. So there's the adrenal glands. Back again. Well, they sit on top of what? The kidneys. And where's the filtering organs for the great lymphatic system? Oh, the kidneys. Oh, see what I'm saying? Filtration is everything, believe it or not. So you can have anything involved with Alzheimer's. You can have any other problem in the world, because when you have lymph stagnation, it's systemic, particularly on one side or the other. Eventually it'll be on both, but one kidney generally goes first, and one side is generally where you feel all the problems. Left side or right side, tumors on the side, this on this side, that sort of thing. Amazing. Even to the point that you wonder, with the single organs, half of the right wall shows up in the right eye and the left wall in the left eye, so that means even in your single organs they're influenced by both kidneys. Amazing, because one wall of the bladder can be healthy as all get out and the other wall be degenerative. Amazing to see that, but why? And that takes us right down to this bilateralness, this why 2 kidneys and 2 adrenal glands? Why? Why do we have 2 different blood pressures? Why do we have 2 different blood sugars? Medical doctors never explain that to us. They don't even know. But that's why. And that's why you look at that. When you have your blood pressure checked, would you check both arms, please? Give them an education. You got blood sugar? Would you check both sides, please? To tell you which adrenals are down. But then you have the eyes, which can show you there too. Would you say that a plant-based diet could stop the progression of this disease and or reverse it even? I would say not a plant-based, I would say a fruit-based. A plant-based, no. You're not going to go anywhere. Not with Alzheimer's. You're in a race already. And I'll tell you why. Compliance. I mean, when you're dealing in an Alzheimer's or a dementia case, you got compliance issues. You got all kinds of issues. If you can get them, but these are advanced levels. So what 2 formulas am I going to say right off? Upper circuit, brain and nerve, upper circuit, brain and nerve. And I would double dose, especially if they're in serious trouble. Upper circuit, brain and nerve. But how do you get this amyloid plaque out of there? What system is the main system of amyloid plaque? It's not blood, to give you the clue. That only leaves one other one. The great lymphatic system again. I don't care how you turn this puppy, it's all going to be lymphatics. It's just the way it is. We're damaging the blood, no question, but it can correct itself. Remember, we have the calcium buffering system, well established in research in a lot of universities. So medical doctors that don't understand that would totally not understand why you have varicose veins, spider veins, why you have depression, why do you have petechia, bruising easy, why do you have prolapses, why do you have, they wouldn't know that. And they don't. And that's the thing, you guys do. And that's important. Very important to the savior of the human race, because the human race is going down. We're flooded by extremely sick people. It's a sick world out there, and you just got to be awake and not run and do antibiotics and everything else when you just get a little fear and that sort of thing. Learn why you're on grapes. Learn why you're doing this. Learn why you're doing that. Have the knowledge, because it's your world, your life, your car, you're driving. You let someone else destroy it, you're going to be back again until you learn not to have anybody destroy it. I'm going to tell you, you're not free. When you die, some people think they're going right up to the big heaven and pearly gates. I got news for you. You're on a long journey, and this is just part of it. And if you don't get it this lifetime, you're going to be spending time learning it. It isn't, I passed, I'm still going. No, you're going to work this. It's going to take you till you gain full responsibility for yourself, because that's how you awaken. You don't awaken and get to heaven by just being a leaf bouncing in the wind and full of fear here. It's going to strengthen you. It's going to rip you. It's going to make sure. It's going to tone you. Not in this lifetime, it'll do it the next or the next. At some time or another, it's going to tone itself, because it's training itself to expand itself. Because the more you can expand, the more you're expanding the whole. And the more each and every one of us can expand and give love, it's expanding the whole. Can you imagine? Cool stuff, ain't it? I got to go. Everybody's going to be leaving here in a minute. What would you recommend she eat? Oh, this is Manny. Fruits, berries, melons. Fruits. I wouldn't even mess with vegetables. If you're going to mess with vegetables, do the green drinks and do the parsley, dandelion green, and beet. And if anything else you want to add to that, but I would do that. And then upper circuit, brain and nerve, where are you going after? You say she's a diabetic. You got to go after the kidneys and adrenals anyway. That's the easiest part of this problem. If you're a type 2, you 5-year-old and 6-year-olds should help people cure type 2. That's how easy that is. But you want to go into those adrenal glands and kidneys. That you're always going to go into those, because this way up here, this amyloid plaque is due to these 2 tissues right here and the 2 glands on top of them. So you get them filtering, and you get all this sinus broken loose. And another thing I will have to say, candle the ears, get this bowel cleaned up, because if this sinus in this head is sitting on some chronic bowels or heavy sulfur, hard to break this loose. But I would candle my ears, hot and cold, neural lymphatics down this, open, sweat, open, pee, everything you can, as soon as you can. Yeah. All right. Love you guys. Got to run, but I'm going to get back in here. I want to come back in tomorrow, but got so much on the agenda. We got so many cool things happening. This class is going to be fun. Iridology class. We got all kinds of neat things planned. Good stuff. Fun stuff. I'm sure there's stuff here I need to talk to you about or show you, but at this point, I'll come here tomorrow or something and do that. But I've been talking to people, I'm kind of talked out right now. So I love you guys. And I'm so proud of you guys. My God, I'm so proud of you guys. I'm so happy to see God is here. I'm so happy to see you.